Good morning. I didn't expect this attendance. Now we have a very good meeting between the NATO and the European Union. As you know, we meet frequently. The last meeting was late part of October, and we have already planned for another meeting next month. Therefore, the cooperation continues to be very active. We have a lot of things to talk about. We have concentrated our discussion today on Bosnia and Herzegovina. As you know, it was an important Council of the European Union at the beginning of the month. And it was also a big meeting a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And we have analyzed the situation. You know what is our position. You know that we are concerned about the situation, about the nationalistic rhetoric that is coming back. But at the same time, from the European Union point of view, we have implemented the SAA. We would like very much to do so. And we have been talking also today about the configuration of EUFOR. No decision has been taken. We will take decisions as we approach next year, probably around the middle of the year, next year, in view of the situation, the real political and situation on the ground. I'd like to say that, as you remember, in the last General Affairs Council, we presented with Commissioner Olli Rehn a document on Bosnia and Herzegovina, how do you see that, and the level of engagement that we want to have with Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'd like to thank very much the Secretary General of NATO. It has been a very good meeting, very constructive, as always, and thank you very much, Jaap, for your cooperation.
Javier, let me start by echoing the words of the High Representative, Secretary General. I think it's essential that NATO and the EU, more in general, of course, have frequent consultations, but that also is very relevant for the meetings between the Political and Security Committee and the North Atlantic Council. On Bosnia-Herzegovina, it was good, it was constructive. What is important now, you might remember my words a few weeks ago, that we were worried and concerned about the rhetoric coming from the political leadership. What's important now that there is an agreement. What is now important is that this agreement will be implemented. I mean, text on paper are fine, words are fine, but it now is important that we see the implementation. And as far as that implementation is concerned, we stay in close touch with the European Union. On the ground, the cooperation is excellent. So I do think that I have nothing to add to the words said by the High Representative. Thank you.
We'll take a couple of questions. Okay. Can we first? Yes?
Okay, Elvin Wutzel, Bosnian TV. Question for the both gentlemen. Today, actually, in this very moment, Prime Minister of Republika Srpska, Mr. Dodik, is busy with bringing legal action against some of the top officials from the international community. For example, Deputy High Representative. Do you have any comment on that?
Well, first of all, I like to tell you that Ambassador Lajak, the High Representative, has been with us today. And he has expressed the analysis of how he sees the situation. Has been very good exchange of views with him. And as you can imagine, we are pretty much against that decision taken.
Yeah. Agustin, yes?
Thank you. Did you discuss deployment of EULEX today? And for Mr. Solana, do you still believe that EULEX can be deployed in December, beginning of December? And will EULEX implement the same laws of Kosovo in entire territory of Kosovo?
You asked three things separately. We have not discussed the deployment of EULEX here today. Second, as you know, I've been in New York talking to the Secretary General of the United Nations on Saturday. I can tell you that it's my expectation that the report of the Secretary General will be presented to the Security Council soon. It's not for me to say the date, it's for him to do it. And I hope very much that will be followed by the statement by the President of the Secretary Council of the United Nations. And we hope very much, and today I have had a meeting with General Karmabon, that the deployment will start in time. That means the beginning of December, if possible the 2nd of December, and that will be in the whole territory of Kosovo, and following the joint action that we agreed.
Okay, we'll take the question here. Yeah.
Beata Płynska, Polish Radio. As both of you are present today, I would like to ask you about the incident that is important to the European Union and NATO. There was an incident yesterday near the border of the South Ossetia that two presidents took part of Georgia and Poland. I would like to ask you about the comments, first of all. And the second question is, do you think that Russia actually implemented the 6-point plan, peace plan?
Let me start by answering you that I've read about the incident. I do not know exactly what happened. You can question if there's a direct relevance of the incident for NATO, but let me say as a more general comment that when there is a shooting, from whatever part that shooting might have come, it is wrong and certainly not in the spirit of the agreements signed. But I do not know any details, and I cannot start blaming anyone. I can start blaming those who were responsible for the shooting, because it is what one doesn't do. Certainly not if a high guest like the President of Poland is in the area.
I repeat what the Secretary General has just said. Shooting is not something that should be done, and whoever is responsible should be blamed. Now, let me tell you that I've been in touch with the monitors which are deployed on the ground, and I will have probably more information along the day, but at this point in time I cannot give you more information.
We'll take gentlemen or another question here in the back.
Mr. Solana, Mr. Scheffer, Caniclas, German television. What is EU and NATO doing against the pirates in front of Africa? Are there joint ideas? What will you do? And if you allow a second question, we just had reports of spying last week from Estonia. How big is the extent of this spying?
Well, two things. First, on the piracy in Somalia. Well, the cooperation is very good. As you know, we will be approving the launching an ESDP operation, a military operation, the 8th of the month of December. It will be a very solid operation. It will have robust rules of engagement. The objective will be to deter, to prevent, to protect, and in particular to protect the United Nations humanitarian component, those on those waters vis-à-vis Somalia. And the cooperation will continue to be. We have already, as you know, several ships down in a cell of cooperation, but it will be the 8th of December will be launched a very important ESDP mission. The headquarters is already in place, the force commander is already appointed, and I hope very much that there will be an important contribution to the stability of that complicated waters. The second thing that you have asked about a member state, yes, we know that the investigation, the criminal investigation has been opened in the member state, in Estonia, and we don't have anything to add at this point in time.
Let me, on that last bit of information given by the High Representative, echo him, and you'll appreciate that I at least will not go into further detail. On the piracy, I commend the European Union with the ESDP mission. I think it's extremely important. NATO is there, as you know, in the WFP escorting role and in the general piracy role. NATO is looking at its longer-term responsibilities in the framework of piracy, but we are happy to see that in December the ESDP mission will start its work. I do not exclude in the longer term that there will be work for NATO as well, because as you know, it's a rather vast stretch of sea, but the ESDP mission is going to start and we'll take it from there.
Okay, we'll take the very last question.
Okay, last.
Yes, Paul Ames from Associated Press. Still on the piracy issue, there are increasing calls from tanker owners for NATO and eventually the European Union to switch tactics and to actually blockade some of the Somali ports so that the pirates cannot get to sea. Is that something which is being contemplated by either of your organizations?
It's not contemplated. Blocking ports is not contemplated by NATO. You know the Security Council resolutions as they are, and they do not include these kind of actions. And as far as NATO is concerned, this is at the moment not in the cards.
I would echo what the Secretary General has said. I'd like to say on behalf of the European Union that the mission will have rules of engagement that will be robust and all means to protect, to deter, will be used, including the use of force.